It'll be nice if I actually turn up the volume. How you doing, everybody? I'm actually trying out going live via YouTube directly, so we get to see how this works. I haven't been live. I'm actually trying out multiple ways to go live because I want to not limit myself to different tools. And this is causing me to explore different ways on how to not limit myself to different things, but actually go out there and try out what it means to be resilient because life be life. And the reason why I want to have this opportunity to kind of talk about the different strategies of how to avoid scams is by finding ways that are convenient for you and your wallet, as well as something that could be that you can actually take advantage of today. So, if you're new here, welcome to the About That Wallet podcast, where we help the sandwich generation build strong financial habits so that they can talk about money, spend money, and enjoy their money with confidence. And I even have somebody who can say it a lot better, more refresher, and seems
When
to
you're
have it a
ready to
handle.
stop dreaming about that Ferrari and actually own it, tune in to the That Wallet Show. Learn sound financial concepts, behaviors, and applications, and make that dream car a reality. Why? Because you're worthy of the best. Here's your host, the exotic Anthony Weaver.
So excited. All right. So let's see. We're gonna go ahead and play this. I found this what I'm about to play is a video clip talking about a nice lovely checklist that you can have to kind of help reset and get your finances in order. Because getting your finances in order is one thing, but finding a way to get it um fully available and having like access to it is another. And this is one of the things that I want you to get in order first, which is how in the world you're going to get your finances together and then try to figure out let's secure it. And the cool thing about it all is that I had the opportunity to be on a panel today to talk with what's the name, Experian, because I was on that panel today, and I actually thought that was actually pretty dope. So, but before we do that, let's go ahead on and listen to this clip and see where we go, so that you can dive into it.
And welcome back. This morning on Today's Consumer, a little spring cleaning, not just for your home, but also your wallet. Now is the perfect time for a money reset so you can make sure that you're moving in the right direction. So here with everything you need to know is NBC's chief business correspondent, Christine Romans.
Morning.
You love spring cleaning.
I do. Look, I think everyone should be allowed to splurge.
Yeah.
So if you clean everything up now, do a little bit of spring clean, you can splurge for the rest of the year.
So what areas should we look at first? How should we start?
So you've got, 3 months of credit card bills and bank statements. Just look at those. Spend a few minutes and see what your patterns and behaviors are. See what your baseline is. I think a lot of people think they're spending less money than they really are. So look and review those monthly transactions and identify the creep upgrades.
What are those?
That's like, are you getting food delivery too often? Are you getting overnight package delivery that you're paying for? Are you doing too many ride shares? Are you buying things that you think are a little bit of a splurge, but it's actually your baseline? Your baseline's creeping up. You're spending a little bit more than you thought. And to identify those places where you're spending all that money and cut some of those recurring costs, especially for things like low value subscriptions and the things that, gym memberships you're not using. Find these things that you're paying for every month that you're not really using and get rid of those. Also, it's good for your financial security because you don't want all of your information a lot of different places, especially if you're not paying attention to those accounts. So cut out those accounts and those things that you're not using.
And we all have those things too.
Oh, we have lots of them.
Let's talk about insurance and healthcare costs because those can be a little harder to trim.
Yeah, update your information. You need to look at this every year and update your info and take a look at what you're spending for home and for auto and for healthcare insurance. And you might be able to shop some insurance, like bundle your home and auto. These prices have been rising for the past few years. So if you haven't shopped around for a better rate, you need to do that right now. Check the deductible progress on your health insurance. If you're getting close to your deductible, you can start scheduling your doctor's appointments for this summer. So you'll be saving some money there. And it's a good time. A third of the year, quarter of the year is gone. So it's a good time to start thinking about your well child visits visits, your annual physical, all that stuff. Get that scheduled for the summer.
Christine Romans maintains that we should also polish up our financial paperwork.
Yes.
What does that mean?
This means look at your W-4 at work. This is the form that you have at work that puts your withholdings in writing, and you want to make
This is actually really good advice. However, it all depends. This is just conversations only. You need to make sure you dealing with this with your taxes. I'm not sure if they're going to talk about it, but I do want to share having and understanding your W-4 is one of the cool things that you can do to kind of get your money now versus waiting for it to show up later in your taxes. So just wanted to keep you guys posted on that as we go through here. All right.
sure that that is appropriate. If you're getting big tax refunds or you're having to pay a lot, your withholding at work is probably not right. So check your W-4. Review your beneficiaries on all of your accounts, your financial accounts, your brokerage account, your retirement account, your insurance account. You'd be surprised how many people don't have up-to-date beneficiaries on those. And then this is the time of year to bump up your 401k contribution, your retirement contribution. Even by 1 little percentage point, I promise you won't notice.
Really quickly on the W-4, can you change that anytime or do you have to wait until open enrollment?
You can change anytime. You can go in there right now and say, I think I need to take another $100 out of every paycheck because I got a big tax bill this year.
Speaking of 401ks, how do you spring clean those retirement finances?
You need to set it and forget it. Make sure that you at least have the minimum contribution from your company. So keep the habit, adjust if necessary, but you want to be doing this. Automate your savings. Always pay yourself first. Make sure you're putting things away, especially in the tax advantaged accounts, and focus on the long term. And what do I mean by that? The S&P 500 is up 70% over the past 5 years. Wow. So every dollar you are squirreling away, even a dollar, is worth a lot more today. So you want to just avoid the big headlines, the ups and downs of the market every day, and just be focusing on the long term, putting those pre-tax dollars away. And I promise you'll thank yourself in the long term.
Set it and forget it.
Yeah.
Spring cleaning with Christine Romans. That's a podcast I'd listen to.
I think he's just kind of full of it, but it is what it is. All right, so keeping in mind, if you're new to the channel, this is about that wallet. What we're doing is actually trying something out. I'm trying something out, which is to have it on Wednesdays at 7. And so for those of you who are new, welcome. Those of you who've been in the know, hey, welcome back. Yeah, unfortunately, I'm not going to be doing Thursdays anymore. Just kind of free up my time a bit for the weekend. Gives me more time to edit my shows and also start clearing out this backlog. So my goal is, if you are following me, to make sure that all of the episodes are actually going to be out. I need to, by what I mean by cleaning it up, meaning I need to start editing all of them and then have them scheduled and posted so you can actually predict on whose episode is coming out next. And that would actually help with alignment of, hey, what episode that you want to listen to next. And you can actually leave a comment when they actually are scheduled to kind of say like, I want to hear more about this, or you can check out the person early before the interview even starts. So I think that would be a good opportunity for all of you. I just want to keep you guys posted. Plus, on top of that, I was able to put out the latest newsletter since November. It's been such a long time. I just want to catch you guys up because it's been quite some time on getting everything together. So, all right, with that being said, I am going to share my screen one time. What we're going to do is go through Experian, because Experian actually posts some really good stuff. We were talking about the panel today, and I had some really nice questions that I just want to recap the whole panel here, because I think it was a great opportunity to kind of talk about what's really going on when it comes to the image. So I'm gonna change my answers slightly, but more than likely it's gonna be pretty much the same. All right. So the very first question here, which is, as we wrap up the financial literacy month, why should we consider identity theft protection an important part of a healthy financial plan. So, when you think about it, yes, this month is wrapping up, and yes, we are going through a lot of things. I want you to start thinking about, you know, your identity. How are you actually portraying yourself online, and how are you actually uh, putting yourself out there? Because it's not only you that you're protecting against; it's also people that you care for as well. So, hey Lisa, thank you for showing. Now, keep in mind, I'm actually doing this on YouTube, so I don't think I can actually share your thing across the screen like how we do on the other platforms. Let's see. I could put you in timeout though. I could pin your message. Let's see. Go to your channel. Let's see if I can do that. So I could pin your message. Great. So this is actually a little interesting for me, like really seeing how to actually do this. Like I said, I never went live on YouTube, directly on YouTube before. So this is a new experience for me. I'm still playing around with all the features. So if you're new here, welcome. All right. So I'm actually looking at my Twitter because I want to make sure that I got my answers along with um what I put here. So my answer to this one, which is like I see identity theft protection as part of the financial defense, which is fair, what you need to do. And you can budget and save really well. But one breach can undo the progress really fast. Protecting your data protects your plan. So when you actually taking the initiative to protect your data, protect what you're actually having out there, meaning that you have your two-factor authentication set up. You have your password sent to like longer than I would say what 10, I think 12 now is the common time frame. So you want to make sure that's taken care of. So that's number one. All right. So we're gonna go to question two. Question two. If you have any answers to these, by all means, drop them in the chat. I'm curious to see what you guys think and what is on your mind. Oh, snaps! I can create clips directly in here. Sweet. All right, now that you have time to look this over, my answer. So the question is, what are some red flags that might indicate someone's personal or financial information has been compromised? Now, for me, I mean, you got to think about it. These are the things that you got to watch for when you're out and about and with your wallet. And by doing so, it's setting up alerts. So, what I want you to do is start thinking about watching the charges that you don't recognize in some of these accounts. And if you have a credit card, you can do this directly through the credit card app. And on each app, they actually tell you your threshold on how much, like, do you want the lowest amount so you can be notified. I always try to do as low as $1. Some banks don't allow that. They do minimum $5. And sometimes I just do it at $10 because, if somebody's going to steal my credit, why not go big or go home? Why would they only take about, some M&Ms or something like that from the store? So those are the things that I look for and try to maintain. So what are your answers? What are some of the red flags that indicate that someone's personal information has been compromised? Or just think about it you. What are some of the things that you find that could be compromised? All right. Let's see. I'm on the Experience website. So there we go. Sweet. All right, question 3. The reason why I'm going through these is because these are the questions that I typically get when people talk about protecting your credit or even protecting your finances while you're online. And I figured it was just nice and easy, perfect timing to end out um, Financial Awareness Month to talk about this. And if you have any questions, by all means, please share. So, with so much of our lives online, what steps do you currently take to help balance convenience with keeping your personal information secure? One of the things that I personally do is actually set up strong passwords. I use two-factor authentications on a lot of things. I have, you know, fingerprint readers if you can. So that's another two-factor. So for some of you, be like, well, what the heck is this two-factor thing? It's stupid. I don't know what's going on. So to understand what two-factor is, it's just meaning another way to identify who you are. Either it's something you know or something that you have. It could be also who you are as a person. So what is it that's on your person that make you know, that let people know or the system know that that is really you? You can, some people use the thumbprint, some use the palm print, some people use their face. So that's one factor. The second factor is more likely something you know. So you can say, hey, what is the pin that goes along with your face or log into this particular account? Think about that. So you can be, a pin can be like 6 digits or something like that. Some people just don't care about what they know, but it could be also access as well. So if you have access to your email account and the thing will say, like, hey, we're just going to verify it's you. We sent this token to your email. Now you got to log into your email, get the token, write it down, memorize it, or copy and paste it into the app that you're trying to access into. So that's a more understanding of two factor. And this is the thing about having Twitter, you gotta only have those 180 characters. So I just want to kind of explain it a little further than what was put on there. I want you to also avoid using public Wi-Fi for your sensitive logins. Do not check your bank accounts while you connected to the Wi-Fi at like Starbucks or at a hotel. Like, just use your cell phone data if you can. If you can't and you have to connect to some of these public services, make sure that you have some sort of VPN. If you do need a VPN, let me know. I do have a referral code that I can provide you of the one that I use, and we can go from there. Just type in VPN if you want me to share that link, and then we can go from there. All right. So number it's number 3, number 4. What we got? Okay. Number 4 is talking about the social engineering. Now, for some of you who are not in, well, you've been through this. Social engineering and phishing are becoming increasingly sophisticated. How can customers distinguish between a legitimate business alert and a scam? So I want to share with you all, let's get some definitions. Let's clear this up because you hear about it, but I want, if you hear on the About That Wallet show, I want you to be about that wallet and be about that education. So we're going to break this a little bit. Engineering, if I can spell. Let me turn down the volume on my phone so nobody try to contact me. All right, so share this tab. All right, so this one here. So social engineering, yes, it's through Wikipedia, but it's all the same. It's social engineering is a psychological manipulation of a person into performing actions or divulging confidential information. Unlike traditional hacking that exploits software vulnerabilities, software engineering targets the human element by exploiting the natural cognitive bias like trust, fear, and curiosity. So when somebody say, "Hey, give me to access this money that we got for you, we want to send this money to you. We just need a bank account so we can transfer the money to you. This was a class action lawsuit. And you were like, I don't know about this class action lawsuit, but I want the money. So you'll provide them with your bank account information. This is social engineering at its finest. This is part of like the phishing tactics. One of the many ways of phishing. There are multiple ways of it, but we'll get into that definition next. Think about it. Yeah, so like deceptive emails actually is right here. Deceptive communication via email, SMS, or voice. So these are talking about more of a digital footprint when it comes to phishing. Social engineering is like I'm coming up to you, hey, um, far as like say I'm trying to talk to security because I want to get inside uh I don't know, I need to use the bathroom, but all the bathrooms are taken up one way and I need to go over here. So I was like, man, this really sucks. I got a wife and kids sitting over here, and I ain't got no wife and kids. So it didn't be like, hey, I just really need to use the bathroom. Your hair looks nice or something like that. Like, tell me something different. These are the things I want you to think about. It's probably bad examples, but whatever we got. When it comes to phishing, this is the second part of that question, which is talking about the deceptive communications, email, SMS, and voice. So when somebody is leaving you different emails saying like, "Hey, click here to you just won a discount," you just clicking on stuff, and then somebody can actually access to your accounts because you have them all on your phone of the one you just clicked on. You got spear phishing, which is targeted attacks against specific individuals or organizations. So this is where somebody is actually fully on targeting you specifically. So say for like example, sorry to throw you out here, Lisa, but you left a message. So say if Lisa is she's all in the stocks and so forth, and I just really want to see what her bank account is about. I really want to see where all her stocks and everything like that she's invested in, because she doesn't share that, because from a security standpoint it makes sense, and plus from an ethical standpoint, when you come to financial services, it's not good to share your portfolio. From a legal perspective, they say it's not supposed to. Whatever. Um, so I'll be like, cool. Let me go ahead on and send Lisa an email. Like, hey Lisa, I'm just curious on like what stocks are you invested in? Can you click on this link here so you can just share your screen, or we can just set up a Skype call? And then she clicks the link. Now I get to see all the fun stuff. Now, whaling is talking about a high level spear phishing target. So think about it like the CEO of Boeing. I'm actually targeting that person to try to figure out like, hey, what in the world are they doing that I could actually take advantage of? That I could approve upon to um, learn more about the business, or I want to get some insider trading secrets. That's like whaling. I want to go for the big fish, you know what I'm saying? The big honcho. Now you also got something called vishing or smishing, which is phishing via voice calls or text messages. This is where they talking about utilizing voice and S for like SMS. So smishing, which is like SMS texting. Vishing is like voice. So you're voice phishing. And so with the voice call, I could mask my voice and actually talk to Lisa as if I am, I don't know, her, I guess maybe her mom, or her aunt, or a sibling, or a uh, relative, to say, hey, can you just send me like 30 to $40 because that's what I need, or $400 because my car broke down, and pretty much his voice changing and telling her like, hey, I need all this information. Can you send it here? So this is what's going on with that definition. And so I want you to understand that what's happening. Now, with those different variations of the definition, now that we understand what social engineering is and we know what phishing is, and because it's becoming so sophisticated with AI, we need to start thinking about how can we start protecting ourselves. And by doing so, one of the things that I said was actually to slow down and verify. Like if somebody's calling you and they acting like one of your loved ones, really take time out to ask them a lot of questions. Make sure that this person is who they say they are. Ask them a question that only that person would know. So not something that they can look up online right quick. Like, hey, what are you wearing? Or what was I wearing when you last saw me? Um, we you just left us. So what's going on? Or you can hang up and try to call that person back. If that person is trying to do what they call as vishing. That's an example of vishing. So to kind of mitigate that will be to hang up that call, contact the person directly, one of your loved ones, and just make sure that it's them. So, but also that's kind of tough too, because you can either email them or drive by their house or tell them, hey, where can I meet you? So there's other things that you can do to mitigate that. This is part of the slow down process. And you know that little that meme with Jackie Chan when he was like, yeah, slow down, baby. That's pretty much what I put with my response. And by doing that, it causes you to think a little bit and have and create discernment about everything, which is okay because that's part of our nature and it's part of our cognitive understanding of what the world we live in. And also, if it's an urgency, usually provides red flags. So I want you to be vigilant about that. And most of the time, it's not that urgent. So take your time and do it right. As I always said, do not try to put both your shoes on at the same time because you can hurt yourself. So put one on at a time, tie it up, do it right. You got this. And that's how I've been in and out my show lately because I thought, it's necessary. All right, so we're gonna go to number 5. All right. So number 5, after this, we're gonna take a small little break. And I think YouTube actually allows me to do a break, which I think is cool. I don't know how they do the breaks here. Like I said, very limited with this particular tool. So they show what I'm sharing, the studio, create a highlight video, add stream marker, I guess. Share it. I guess I could share it to my as a post, I guess. I don't know. All right, anyway, so let's keep moving. Let's get this over with. Okay, number 5. Question 5, directly using the hashtag credit chat. What tools or resources have you found most helpful for staying aware and monitoring your personal information so you can catch any misuse quickly? How would you answer that? What do you do currently? Okay, let me see if I got some hold music. Oh, geez. It's my little jingle for y'all. All right. So let's go down and go through my answer. Let's say I rely on credit monitoring alerts and daily and weekly account checks, like check ins. And what I do is by checking my account on a weekly basis, if not daily, usually I'm on that thing as much as social media to make sure that all of my all of my money is where it's supposed to be. Because, I'm not sure how y'all feel, but like the commercial that used to be on, I would say back in the early 80s, early 90s, where they say it's 10 o'clock. Do you know where your kids are? And I'd be like, it's money o'clock. Do you know where your money is? Money o'clock is whenever you think about money. You should be checking your bank account, making sure it's all there like it's supposed to be. So, and don't be like Homer Simpson who was like, I told you for the last time, I don't know. Those commercials were so real. Um, Let me see if I can actually find it. I thought that was actually a funny clip. Let me see. I know, I'm all over the place, but sue me. Don't sue me, but you know what I mean. Let's see. Homer Simpson, do you know where your kids are? I just thought it was funny. All right, I found it. It's like, let's see. So y'all can laugh with me. I think it's great.
It's 11 o'clock. Do you know where your children are?
I told you last night. No! Where is Bart anyway? His dinner's getting all cold and eaten.
It's 11 o'clock.
So I want you to think about that when you're actually having your moments and your when you start thinking about your finances. Do you know where your money is at? You don't know where it's at, and it's getting all lazy and being spent, really, literally. So one of the things that I actually do to kind of help mitigate people and kind of slow down things a little bit is I actually take pictures of all of my receipts. So when I go to spend money out to go out for happy hour or I go out to eat for dinner or even lunch, I actually take a snapshot or a picture of all of my receipts because I want to make sure that what I say is on that receipt is going to be on that receipt. I think it happened at least once or twice that I had to dispute charges because what happened was that the cashier added an extra dollar or an extra $2 to the amount that I put on there. So I had to go through the credit card to actually dispute it. So it's been helpful to take a photo. Even though you think the cashier is nice, they've been friendly, but at the end of the day, it's business. So don't let the friendliness fool you. Make sure you go ahead on and make those changes. So I wonder if I can actually open up another tab with me, my page, so that I can actually share my post and talk more about. Oh snaps! I can. Okay. Let's see. We're on question 6. So let me see if I can pull it up here. All right. So we just did question 5. And I know I said we're gonna do a break, but there we go. All right, so I'm gonna play a little bit of music. I'm gonna go get me something to drink. Y'all can see this at full screen. And I'll be right back. So I'm gonna play some tunes while y'all do your thing. This will work. All right, be right back. Wonder if I can stop my camera for a minute. All right, be right back. Gotta get some water. All right. All right. Okay. So question 6. If you discover that you've been a victim of identity theft, what steps do you what steps you should take to minimize damage? All right, so this is what I put. I put this. See if I can zoom in here a little bit. All right. So I said the first thing is to act fast, place fraud alerts, review accounts, dispute any unauthorized activity, and document everything. Speed matters when limiting damage. I know I said take your time when it comes to actually looking into um like before you spend anything and try to figure out what's going on. I want you to start thinking about how are you gonna mitigate things because scams happen very quickly and you want to make sure that you are looking at your books constantly. How are you providing um, a quick mitigation response to anything that's happening to your account? So, what do you do? You know, another thing that I could have put on here, but I did not, which was talking about how to change your passwords immediately. You can order another credit card to change that number. You can go ahead on and if you have the app for that particular card, you can go ahead on and lock that card down so no additional charges can be accrued and contact the bank. So if you want to do a step by step, you see something, say something, meaning when you see something, do something, say something. When you see something that's happening into your account, you go ahead on and do something. And this is the doing where you lock down your account, you contact when you lock down the account, you start ordering another credit card. The say something is contacting that bank. Now that you contacted that bank about what's going on, now that that bank is aware, they will go ahead on and do their due diligence to start locking down things because they do not want you to get scammed. And another thing that obviously, because like I said, they're limited with characters here. When this has happened to one of my financial friends, and we were just chatting, and what happened was this bank already knew about this person, and what they wound up doing was telling her like, "Hey, this person is very fraudulent. We will not process any of their payments. So if you see that they're processing and their payments are not coming through, it's because we already flagged this person because she's done this for multiple other customers. And so if the bank is already onto you, that is saying a lot, not onto you specifically, but onto the person that's trying to purchase from you. So if you realize that they're not purchasing anything, or are you trying to do business with this person and it's not working out, it's because they been flagged. So a lot of these banks are doing what they can, and I'm talking about the mitigation because everybody talk about what happens. We know what's going to happen, but how do you mitigate that? We can go down a rabbit hole on how many other people being scammed because honestly, I think I put it here on my chat recently. Um, let's see where I'm at because this is my page. Yeah, so I went on and had said that Americans have lost over 20 billion on online scams in 2025, according to the FBI data, marking a significant increase from 16.6 billion in 2024. So if you're a victim of credit uh, fraud or anything like that, that's going back to how do you mitigate things and say things, you can go to ic3.gov. And I want to put that in the chat so you have it. And make sure it's HTTPS because you know you got to be secure. So with HTTPS :// IC3, the number 3.gov, you can actually file a complaint there. So I want to make sure that you guys have that right now before we start diving into more things for question 7. All right. So question 7. Talking about what's the difference between credit freeze and credit fraud alert, and how do you decide on what's right for you? Now, this one, remember, personal finance is personal. So, with that being said, why not do both? Right? You can freeze it and you can do fraud alert at the same time. There is no reason that you have to do one or the other. Now, doing a credit freeze just kind of locks you in. It doesn't allow any new credit to open up and so forth. But going forward, it also allows you to provide stability in keeping your finances locked down the way you need them to. So remember, this is just for educational purposes only. So do not come at me, bro, about having, like, I got everything from about that wallet. Nope, don't do that. So right here, I said I look at fraud alerts as a warning of a flag versus freeze is a lock. So I want you to think about that. Fraud alerts are just flags. Somebody waving a flag, hey, something happened. But freezing your credit is actually putting a lock on your credit. Now, that doesn't mean you can't use your credit. It just means that people cannot open up new credit in your name. That means that people can't try to open up new lines of credit. And when it comes to people trying to check your credit to open up new lines of credit, they will actually let you know, like, hey, your accounts are locked. Can you unlock this so we can look at your account? Now, what when would you actually unlock your account? One of the reasons why you would unlock your account is if you're buying something and you know for sure and you're monitoring and managing that particular entity. Now, how do you, some people are like, well, how do you freeze your credit? You talked about freezing your credit. One of the things that you can do, I'm actually just Googling freeze. Since we're using Experian, because Experian's been really helpful, we go to Experian, so freeze and unfreeze your credit, file for free. All right. And so right here, you can file for free a secure freeze, also known as the credit freeze, limit access to your Experian credit report, helping protect you against identity theft. Now, the three easy steps. All you have to do is sign up for your free Experian account, place a freeze limit access to your Experience credit file, and then you can easily unfreeze it or schedule a thaw at any time and get alerts when your freeze changes. So Experian already provide this information. So if you're curious, I'm gonna put this in the chat as well so that you can have it. Because this guy does not gatekeep with the information because you can't steal it. It's out there, it's free. Go get it. I just curate it for you because I want the best for you. Now the question is, you can actually get a pin for your freeze. Oh, you no longer need a friend? What? So back in the day, I'm gonna tell you back in the day because they used to charge you $5 to actually it was $15 to freeze your credit. And then you had to pay $15 every time you unfroze it and put it freeze on. So they were already charging people to secure themselves, which to me I thought was actually like highway theft. Like you trying to do the right thing and protect yourself, but business is business. So they figured people gonna buy it anyway. But I'm glad that they stopped doing it and allowed it to be done for free because really all it is a click of a button and they can get it done immediately. And also as a parent, look at this right here. As a parent, parents and guardians can freeze the credit file of their children under the age of 16. You can request a minor's credit report, fraud alert, or credit freeze by mail. So I want you to think about that. If you have children who have yet to start building their credit, you can start put them on there. Now we did this is a whole nother show where we can talk about growing credit for your children and helping them build credit. But this is not that episode. We're talking about the scams right now. So having that understanding that you can freeze your child's credit is very important. And then you can always unfreeze it as well. And they keep it nice and easy. And so even how long can a Fredder freeze be? It's really up to you. Um, just go in and do it that way. So I just wanted to share that with you because I know I talked about it quite a bit of time, and I want to make sure that you have that information. So let's go back to question 7. So how would you? I mean, what would you decide? Do you prefer to freeze or do you prefer to the fraud alert, or do you do both? I'm just curious. Me personally, I do the freeze. I don't have anything worth stealing. It's nice and easy. All right, question 8. Let's see, question 8. All right. All right, so let you guys read that right quick. Put on y'all reading music. All right, so let me go on and read it. Identify theft isn't just financial, it can be emotional. How can victims manage the stress and paperwork fatigue that often comes with the recovery process? Boy. Now, I haven't had my identity stolen, but I know people who have had their identity stolen, and it's not a fun thing. Um, so with that, I just say that I remind people to take it step by step. It's overwhelming, but the process happens one call, one form at a time. Support and patience matters during the recovery. The reason why this is important that you understand that this is a process. It's not something you can just snap your fingers and do the stance. You can do it all by yourself. You have to actually have a moment to start looking at the people that can support you. And what I mean by supporting you, by looking at, okay, what are the banks going to be able to do? What all the paperwork do you need? Do you have your passport? Do you have a copy of it to show who you are? Because I have seen there's a thing on the news where this one lady who was recently, I don't even think she was married. She was engaged and they deemed her deceased. But because they deemed her deceased, they locked up her social security, they locked up all of her retirement accounts. She didn't have access to her bank accounts. But because of that, and because she was never married to her longtime partner, she actually, her partner never received any of the money. The state that she was in kept it inside the estate plan. I forgot they call it like a what do they leave that at? They leave it inside some type of uh account. I forgot what's called, drawing a blank. Mm, I know what it is. It's not an estate plan or the estate, I guess, in her estate. And then the bank was able to get access to that estate. So let me see if I could pull that up because I actually think you guys would like that. Um, thereby, yeah, because the Social Security Administration using identity theft. Identity theft. Yeah. It's a very old clip, but I can't find it right now. I don't see the lady. Or it wasn't any of the earlier hits. Um, all right, but there was like a black couple that that happened too, and I don't see it in the earlier hits on this YouTube. But anyway, so yeah, so have any of you all had identity stolen or know somebody that had their identity stolen, and how did they get that back? Because some of those resources might be helpful to somebody who's tuning in now or just listening in. And I want to thank you all who's listening in right now because we got 2 more to go and it should be able to fly through the rest of the 2. So this one right here is like, how can families or caregivers help protect children and teens and older uh, adults from identity theft? Now, I did talk about that on my end, which goes back to the credit freeze piece, and which we already talked about through Experian. They can do that. So usually I just tell families just to kind of monitor accounts, limit their alerts, limit shared information online, freeze credit accounts, and educate loved ones about the latest scams. And awareness across generations is key to protection, because education is key, but knowledge is power. And what that means is, if you sit on this knowledge but don't take action, it's just information at this point. It's mute. So I want you to start thinking about it. How are you mitigating your stuff? And then how are you transferring that information to a loved one? Now, one of the things that you can do is to start, when it comes to education people about the different scams or financial scams that are out there. There are so many. I think the FBI has a scam alert. No, not the FBI. I want to say IC3.gov. I think they do have a form on how to mitigate. No, they just got the annual report stuff. Huh. Maybe I should go with my own form. Let's see. Latest scams. I'm actually looking this up right now. Latest scams for I guess latest scams, latest online scams, latest financial. There we go. Financial scams. Like my brain just it's really slow on, not slow in the sense of like, but it's the way it processes things is definitely different. Let's see. Scan. I'm just sharing. So if you have any questions, by all means, please put that in the chat. Share this tab. Financial scams to look out for 2026. Yes. Oh, the IRS. Huh. Of course, they would have something. And we're going to go to the IRS website because, there is no fluff around here. We're just going straight to it. They say the dirty dozen tax scams 2026. Let's say top one, IRS impersonation, mail or text, which you talked about, which is phishing or something. We got AI enabled IRS impersonation by phone. These are called vishing. Remember, we just learned that term. We got fake charities. Look out for. Most people like to donate money to them because they want to get their tax break. We got misleading tax advice on social media. Remember, trust but verify. Slow down, learn the stuff. Always provide resources. So don't come at me trying to say that I'm giving you false information. We looking it up. And if I'm wrong, I'm pulling up the resources and you can see it with me. You're on it. All right. So we're talking about identity theft revolving the IRS online account access. So when you're trying to log in your information, they actually try to spoof those websites. Going back to phishing process. If you're new here, please make sure you give a thumbs up. Greatly appreciate you. Give me a holler in the chat. Let me know where you're from. We got abusive, undistributed long-term capital gain claim. Now, I just had my capital gains claim recently, and I claimed all of it. I was like, I ain't leaving nothing on the table because this is what we need. And then we got the bogus self-employment tax credit promotions. So be mindful of those. We got ghost preparers. Now remember, they say right here, ghost preparer prepares a return but refuses to sign it and or refuses to include a preparer tax identification number, what's called a P10. Now that P10, you can actually get one of those for free. You just got to go to their website and sign up for it. So when a preparer refuses to sign the provided P10, I'm sharing this one because this is a cool term and I think you all should know this. And this is brand new. to meet anyway. And let's see. The IRS urges taxpayers to avoid preparers who will not sign the return and choose reputable help. So how you get reputable help is finding somebody else. uh, Taxpayers should never sign a blank or incompleted return. Instead, the IRS reminds taxpayers to use trusted tax professional for help. So they already provide a website for you to find a tax person in your area. We talked about this many times. We're looking at non-cash charitable contribution schemes. We got overstated without holding schemes. So your withholdings. This is something that you'll do in your W-4 form, but so you can modify your W-2s and so forth. So it's modifying all of this extra stuff. And so I just want to be, and also you got your Schedule Ks. I always call these special Ks, but your Schedule K1 forms. All right, we already talked about the spear phishing and mail. Oh my gosh, that's what happens when you zoom in. Okay, we almost done. We got the spear phishing and malware campaigns targeting tax professionals. So if you're a tax professional, you're preparing things, this is something to look out for. Need to make sure that you're not just getting any random Joe Schmo at the streets. You actually know who they are and actually meet them face to face. Then we also have the aggressive and misleading offer to compromise market, which is the OIC mills. So just want to keep that in mind. So that's just some of the scams that the IRS.gov provides so that you can be mindful of what's going on. All right. So last one. I think we got one more. And I know I'm over just by a little bit, but I also started late. So here we are. Come on, machine. There we go. Number 10. We getting there. I'm sorry. Hold on. Let me share. Okay. So number 10. What's one simple step everyone can take today to better protect their identification information and their financial future? All right, I'll give you a couple seconds to answer that. Think about that and play some music. All right. So now you got your answer. Here's my answer. I put on there one step I always recommend is a two-factor authentication on the financial accounts using a soft token such as Google Authenticator. It can add a simple but powerful layer of protection. The reason why I'm saying that is because one of the things that you can take exactly like right now is to do that. Obviously, with limited characters, the second thing I was going to say was go ahead on and freeze your credit. All you have to do is just if you don't have an Experian account, go ahead on and log in and get an Experian account. It takes less than 15 minutes because they just got to identify who you are. They realize who you are. Boom, you're good to go. Secondly, what you can do is go through all three bureaus. So you got TransUnion, Equifax, and Experian. And you can go ahead on and start freezing all of those immediately. So that's pretty much it in a nutshell that I wanted to talk about today because it's a lot that's going on. And I really want to make sure that you are protected with your finances. And granted, there are other ways that you can do this, but we're talking about scams here. There are other ways of protection. Either you can go through trust, you can go through have a will, talk to the trust, and then the trust kind of handles everything that way. However, if you have trust fund money to get started, usually it depends on who you go through for your trust setup. So I would say double check with the people that are in your area and get started today. All right, everybody. This was fun. I wish you all the best. And thank you for tuning in to the About That Water podcast. Peace. I don't have outro music. I don't know. What's this? All right. Deuces.
The wallet's missing from the floor. It's got my secrets, nothing more. I checked the drawers, I checked the spikes. Left me hanging in my Nikes. Last night we tore up the town. Now my wallet's not around. Call the cops or play it smooth. Pay my debts and start anew. Hey, where'd it go? My cash, my cars, my flow. Don't you know what's gone? Now I'm
Oh, I can start a QA. Sweet.
Dancing lights and screaming bass. Drinks were flowing in that place. Left a tip but lost my grip. Now my wallet's gonna slip.
Alrighty. Y'all have a good night. We out. Thank you for joining the jam session.